In part 2 of our interview with Damola Idowu of Owners Illustrated, we see STEM applied in business at the Washington Auto Show.
We took kids, so we took this group right here, they're classic musicians, violinists, saxophone, drummer, keyboard, brought the tools, got in the booth and did some hip hop stuff.
Really?
So you're able to show them how you could do a jazz hip hop fusion using classical musicians, but we recorded the whole album, the music, over a weekend. Miguel. So this is my old producer partner. Miguel, come on man, come on, let's talk to the people. So this is my old producing partner, Miguel Richardson. You know what I mean? We done made albums together, but they actually were ahead of me in the music scene here, Five Bro MCs. So I did the Deity Die and I got on that after them. But what we did was, so me, him, and another one of our partners, over a weekend, we were able to train these classical musicians to produce an album. So we write in the songs, they're able to play it out and do a jazz hip hop fusion. So these are people that would normally be doing classical recitals. In fact, some of them had recitals that was totally different from that. Then we commercialized the product, and here it is in a store, Gilbert Joseph in Paris. Here it is in Disc Union in Tokyo. Here it is performing the music in Beijing, China. Here we are in Seoul, Samchuk, Korea, South Korea. Here it is in Taipei. I'm out here talking about it with the head of techniques. And this was in Berlin at the IFA. Here I am on the radio in Brussels talking about a project that we did with kids at a college where they didn't think, okay, so how's that going to happen? And then you're able to turn that into vinyl, CD, and as you see it right here, an action figure.
Wow.
But doing the action figure requires 3D designing. So that's also part of STEM. Because then we brought Autodesk to our hackathon. Autodesk creates software that allows people to do 3D design. So it's like, you see these products, but how do you make it? You take the students through that level and they're part of the creative. And then you're able to show them, well, here, go to iTunes. Oh, my music's now on iTunes. Google Play, Amazon, Spotify. And now they're able to see like, okay, so here is the process of how I could commercialize a product. And we even wrote, so then we made a book that has the lyrics of the project, and Intel actually gave my son a grant. They had a campaign called Hack Harassment, Stopping Online Bullying. So one of the songs was Stop the Bullying. And Intel gave a grant to him as a campus ambassador, and this was a PSA we did with the students. So we turned all this to a tech PSA about using culture and integration of people from different backgrounds to attack online bullying, and then taking that song around the world.
So, you know, as a people, we're like awesome consumers, right?
Yeah.
So you're breaking that so we become awesome creators.
That's it. You know what? You said it right there.
Right there.
Because it's like, I'm like, we cannot survive economically if all we're doing is consuming. How can we be creators and influencers on the entrepreneurship and content side? And that's what we're doing. So now we're actually working on a project. So this went so well, the people in these countries were like, well, we want to do something with you. So we actually are now working with producers in Korea, Bogota,
on remixes. Everybody's collaborating
around the world. Ukraine, they're like, yeah, let me just do some scratching. But it's coming off of a project with students on a college campus who didn't think that, okay, well, I'm gonna do this, so well, what am I gonna do? What's my career gonna be? Your career could be anything. You could produce any kind of music because this isn't what you normally do. But the right producer, the right influence could show you how you could structurally make any kind of music and expand your audience and expand your potential.
What's funny was a lot of the musicians, I think a couple of them might have actually been in the program, like for music. A lot of them were engineers, robotics, mathematical engineers. But play instruments as well. So they came in, they did their part. They, we had ideas. We gave them a little feedback, and they were able to bring that whatever rhythm we had, bring it to fruition. So that's how the project came out. We recorded it there, took it back home, and worked on it at home, and mixed it and everything, and then put it out. And now we've got people that heard it from around the world. We're collaborating with them. Hey, I want to get on there with this. So now,
and then we're going to do another project, so that now leads to other commerce. But now you get in huge markets that are now first getting exposed to a different way. So it's like now they're getting a different exposure to African American culture and American culture. Because now they're like, okay, well, people just push things to us. And you're telling us we could create and communicate, and we can now participate? Nobody's ever told us that.
Yeah.
So now that spurs other opportunities as distributors, as entrepreneurs of entirely new content. So that we're now, like you said, not just consumers, we are creators, distributors, facilitators on a global scale. So it's not just like, okay, well, you know what, how are we going to get in here? It's like, listen, there's half the planet's on that side. Mm-hmm. And nobody's ever given them a chance to collaborate. Mm-hmm. But it's stemming off from here. And once this works, and then it's stemming off, okay, so now students here could work with students there. You could use technology to communicate. You could say, okay, I'll send you this, I'll send acapella, we got these. And that's part of showing the computers that these tools now facilitate a whole different conversation about enterprise.
More into syntax, right?
Yes. More than if you maximize it. So some people are like, okay, so we dominate social media. We could make something a hashtag overnight. Okay, so-and-so tweeted this. Okay, now that's the number leading hashtag. What we're doing here is saying, how are you going to build the next Twitter? How are you going to build the next platform?
The next original thought.
So because that's how you become the billionaire. You're not a billionaire just being the consumer and just making the high. They'll give you a few million. Oh yeah, you on the Google and you got these metrics and you a hot ambassador. No. What we're looking at is how you gonna do this. So my son's like, okay, yeah, I want to do hardware, Dad. Okay. So how are we gonna go there? Who's making hardware? Who has expertise? Where are they on the planet? How are we going to go on the planet and get people to be able to do this? How are we going to get people to be able to do this? And then how are we going to bring people into the ecosystem so that, okay, so one of our developers, he worked with us to do this, but then now he was able to get the same game placed on iTunes. Mm-hmm. So now it's like, well, I'm an iTunes developer now. I'm on the Apple Store through working in this environment. A young black brother from Silver Spring. Right. So now you showing brothers like, okay, now it's just, you're not just buying Apple. Now you have a financial stake in Apple because people that buy Apple could actually support your software.
So you point to this, but what is it?
This is actually a computer. So we were actually going to install music software on that, plug that in. We actually have a digital keyboard like this. This works with the MPC, and this is something that could fit in your pocket. You bring your MPC, your digital joint, and you could plug this into any HDMI in your hotel room.
It's fully loaded. That little thing.
Windows 10, 2 gigs of RAM,
What?
32 gigs, and here is 64 gig micro SD card. So I have like 100 gigs of storage on this. I take a 256 USB 3.0 that goes right here. You plug your digital audio here. Use your Bluetooth keyboard.
Plug your monitor.
Plug your monitor. It fits in your pocket.
And it's straight music.
You can put your music, whatever. Here's your Cody box. Is your computer. Is your office.
That's a game changer. That's a game changer.
This is how we're looking at things. Like, how do you change the paradigm, and then how do you build a pipeline of young developers that could participate in that paradigm shift, so that it's not like, okay, wow, we're scared because if they come in, they're going to knock us out because they're going to gentrify the neighborhood, and then we're not going to be a part of it. No, we coming in as a movement because all these kids are trained and they got in early, so there's no disadvantage. So if you're looking for good talent, here they are. And if you don't hire them, they have other markets that they would dominate, and they might actually be bigger than you because you locking them out, but they might be locking you out. So now the conversation changes.
How about that? Right?
So now the conversation changes to, okay, it's not charity for me to engage them. It is survival of my enterprise for me to change them, because if I'm not cool with them in 10 years, I will be out of business. Mm-hmm. because they are the creators. It's a young person's game to create and innovate. Like, you have to have people that are fresh and thinking about new ideas, but you have to incorporate them in the system, and people are struggling on that, and that's what we're dominating in. We're going to incorporate people, period.
Thanks so much. I'm looking forward to next week.
Oh yeah.
Because
like half the day, and it's just awesome. Like they have VR, they have Xboxes, they're even programming VR. Like the watch, it's like a new piece of tech. Like it's a whole computer on your wrist, a whole bunch of apps, bunch. It's his son. And yeah, because he was blocking me right there, so I really didn't see him. So he's like the genius that invented this thing, and it's like a whole new world.